I just did a really big grocery haul. Let's be real, I didn't do it, the Instacarters did it, but nonetheless, the Instacart fairy dropped it off on my doorstep after I selected carefully what I wanted for my groceries. So I'm gonna go through this with you in real time, and I'm gonna show you what carbs I'm eating, what proteins I'm eating, what fats I'm eating, what fun things I'm eating, and also that I am not tracking motherfucking macros.
Let's take a step back. For those of you that are new here, my name is Diane. I've been in the health and fitness space for over 17 years. I'm an IFBB bodybuilding pro, which also makes me a professional dieter. And I'm a personal trainer, I'm a health coach, and I have been tracking macros and calories for a very long time. I've been 200 pounds. I have professionally dieted my whole professional bodybuilding life. I've gained weight, I've lost weight, I've been shredded, I have been obsessive, I've hated my body, I now love my body. I've had unhealthy eating behaviors and everything in between.
Okay, you guys, I am 20 weeks out from the Angel Competition Bikinis fashion show, and I am excited. I'm really, really excited. I'm going to be tracking the journey. I'm going to be sharing the journey. If you have any questions at any point, please drop them in the comments below and I'll answer them for you. So for me, it's more about intuitive eating. It's eating according to what my activity is, if I'm training, if I'm not training, and really working within those parameters to figure out what my meals are going to look like. I'm going to start with carbs. I'm going to save my sanity foods for the very end because I do partake in some yummy things that are probably frowned upon because they're not considered like diet foods or, you know, whole food diet, but I'm human. I like chocolate and, you know, that's how we be rolling. So basmati rice. This is the lazy bitch's answer for carbohydrates right here. So these just pop in the microwave, I don't know, 2 minutes, 1 minute, something like that. You'll have rice. So this is one that I will use. If you are joining me on Instagram, because I'm recording for YouTube as well, but if you're here on Instagram, hello, good morning. Please let me know where you're watching from on this beautiful Saturday morning. I would love to know where my friends are. Okay, rice. Basic bitch carb staple. Same thing with potatoes. These are just like the little baby potatoes. I will throw them in the air fryer, chop them up, and have them with, you know, some kind of protein. The other carbs I have are probably something that a lot of you don't think about using because they're tortillas. So organic flour tortillas are delicious. So I usually just try 2 different brands. Just depending on, you know, what they've got at the grocery store. So this is just like a La Tortilla, and this is Mission, good old fashioned. I will usually have one of these per day in some kind of wrap, right? I'll put ground beef in it, chicken, something like that, maybe like a breakfast thing. Super, super delicious, and honestly is a great break from just potatoes and rice. Okay, so if you have been in the bodybuilding community or dieting or ever did a meal plan or anything like that, I'm sure your coach has probably had you on rice or potatoes or something of that nature. And that's all cool, that's great, but I also like to have some fun type of carbs as well. So those are gonna be a few. The other one that is probably another one that a lot of people don't even think about because it's bread and like bread is the devil and bread is scary. It's not, okay? Sourdough bread is generally my go-to. So I have some sourdough bread. I will make some toast, I will do sandwiches, something like that, and it's really, really good toasted. Then we have the chocolate rice cakes. These are so good, very hard to find for some reason, but I will sometimes use these as a carb source as well. And I will also use these as sanity food. What does that mean? I'll slap some peanut butter on here, maybe a sprinkle of mini chocolate chips or something, and that'll be kind of like a little dessert, right? The other carb source, good old-fashioned bananas. Don't be scared of fruit, please. Don't be scared of fruit. Fruit it's great for you. It's got all kinds of micronutrients, and it is a good carb source. I don't live on a ton of fruit, but that is one that will make an appearance in my carb allotments. Same thing with strawberries. These are looking a little bit scary. The Instacarter just kind of grabbed, you know. That's another reason why I've been going to the store a little bit more than using Instacart because sometimes what they choose isn't exactly the best. Okay, we have English muffins. Sourdough English muffins will also be a carb source. Then apples. Okay, so just Pink Lady apples or Honeycrisp apples are my favorite go-to. And I believe that's all I had for this haul of carbs. Now, this is just sort of what I'm eating right now, but not necessarily the only things I'll eat. I'll rotate some other things in as well. We got tomatoes, which also fall in the carb category, if you will, but I don't really fuss over tomato carbs. Then we're gonna move on to protein. Protein is probably one of the biggest things that we see women struggle with, is getting in enough protein. And what I also do is just try to keep several sources handy, right? So I will have some pre-cooked stuff that I just have in a container in the fridge. Then I will have some basic stuff that's just unconventional that also counts as protein. So I will look for a nitrate-free turkey breast or chicken breast, like sliced deli meat, because I love just a good old sandwich, okay? Or a wrap in a tortilla. So I'll use that with my sourdough bread or use it with one of the wraps. So just basic Columbus, peppered turkey breast. Another one that a lot of people forget about, and it's usually overlooked because it's pork, is Canadian bacon. And Canadian bacon, this is really low in fat, and it's a decent amount of protein. It's not my favorite source of protein, so I'll use this sparingly, but it is also a source of protein. So don't be afraid to throw in some Canadian bacon and experiment with some different things. This is a fun thing. That's gonna be next. Then good old fashioned turkey bacon. So also another fun one that goes, overlooked is turkey bacon. Great for protein as well, very low in fat. Then the basic, eggs. Eggs are a standard go-to when it comes to protein. I eat the yolks. So what I will usually do is typically 2 whole eggs, and then I will also throw in some egg whites and just kind of dilute it a little bit. But if you've never had plain egg whites, they're really sad. They're really sad looking. They lack the yellow excitement, the beauty that is a yolk. So I will do that. These are the natural omega, the happy chickens that aren't aggressive, I guess. I don't know. And then some egg whites, okay? I got 2 of these because I will go through egg whites really, really quickly. So generally every morning for breakfast, I have some kind of egg-based breakfast meal. And then sometimes at night, if I am wanting something breakfasty for dinner, I will make a breakfast sandwich or something like that. So there's no real hardcore structure to what I'm doing. It's just kind of how I feel, what sounds good, and then I just pick from what I have. Then ground beef, just the grass-fed beef. This is the 93% lean. Also, just as a side tip, this is one that I see a lot of women make mistakes on, is they just are well, I ate meat. I just grabbed some meat. I just put some meat in my mouth. Okay, you want to make sure, if you are trying to stay lean and you want to, drop some body fat, drop some weight, whatever you want to call it, that your protein sources are lean. That is super important. You want to try to get your dietary fat from other sources, which I'll talk about in a second, but you want to try to minimize as much animal fat as you can. So that way you can focus on the heart healthy fats, the better fats that are just generally overall better for you as far as health and longevity goes. So leaner meats is generally the hands down go-to for me. I would rather have other fats that are going to be better for me. So then we can move on to a classic staple that I will usually have as well, which is Greek yogurt. The cherry one just happens to be my favorite, but I will usually have one of these at night. I'll throw in maybe a sprinkle of some kind of cereal or a few chocolate chips, or maybe a spoon of peanut butter or something. And this is a really great sanity food, but also it is a protein packed dessert. I just really love these. I just love the Core Power proteins. I love how they taste. They're very similar to chocolate milk. So I just like to have a few of these handy if I'm in a rush, if I'm running around, if I'm going to the gym and then have errands after. I will typically throw one of these in my bag, and then I just chug on that afterwards just to kind of get in some protein. And then I'm a sucker for these Power Crunch bars. This is probably one of my top favorites. The Built Bars, muscle sandwiches. And I generally will just have these as, again, a backup, or if I'm feeling like snackish, I'm gonna have a snack attack rather than be knuckle deep in like a bag or package of Oreos. I will do something like a protein bar, and it kills the craving. Okay, let's move on to a couple other things. I don't have a ton of healthy fats in this grocery haul because I have a ton already here, but one that is also a favorite of mine is either guacamole, or we got some good old-fashioned avocados. Okay, so these will go in a multitude of my meals, either a bowl, a wrap. Sometimes I'll have it alongside my breakfast with, an omelet or something like that. But don't be afraid of fats in the sense of, avocados and guacamole. I remember back in the day, your girl was like terrified of any kind of added fats. Like I would never eat guacamole, I would never eat avocado. We've grown up since then, and we realized that my brain does not feel good if I'm not eating enough fat. And typically most diets that are similar to bodybuilding diets and things of that nature are usually generally really low in dietary fat as you get closer to your goal. And with that, I just know that as that happens, I tend to get a lot foggier in the brain because we need healthy fats for our brain to fire properly, also to help reduce inflammation and a whole host of other amazing health properties. But avocado is where it's at. It's delish. Okay, now I'm going to talk about some just random things that I have. And these are also some things for you to think about if you're in a cut, if you are dieting and you're just like, oh, I don't know, I'm at a plateau, what's going on? Maybe you have 10 pounds or less to lose, which is kind of where I'm going to be in this journey onto the Angel Competition Bikinis stage for the fashion show in October, is I really only want to drop probably about 10 pounds, give or take. And I say that because I know what my body looks like 10 pounds lighter than what it is. I know usually how my mind is around food at that weight. I know how hungry I am at that weight, and that's sort of the furthest I'm willing to push it anymore in terms of dieting. So with that, the reason I preface this piece of the video with that is these things, as I get closer to the goal date, which is in October, which seems very, very far away, but trust me, I've dieted for shows 16 times, and 20 weeks does not feel like it's that far away in reality. So I will start to get a little more strategic with these next items as we get closer. But for right now, they're gonna remain. And one of those things is my coffee. Okay, my coffee, if you take away my coffee, I'm gonna stab a bitch. So I need to have some kind of creamer, some kind of something. I don't know how all y'all do black coffee. Y'all are my heroes, but I cannot do that shit. I basically drink coffee for the creamer, let's be real. So I do have these things. So oat milk, and this is a silk almond creamer. This is the sweet and creamy one, super good. But I will use these interchangeably, just kind of depends on my mood and the vibe. And that will be what I use as my creamer for my coffee. Also, just a quick tip, generally, like as I get closer to my goal, right? So October is far, far away, but probably around August or September, I will start paring these things back. I will use probably almond milk and stevia and just sort of switch things, right? And that's really what the art of staying relatively lean and having more of a lean level of body fat is. It's really knowing what little things are contributing to you not getting leaner. These little sneaky things are one of those, or several of those things. Okay, so these Bolt House Farms, which is a lower calorie style dressing. These are some of my favorites. They're typically made, I believe, with Greek yogurt, but I don't use a ton, but just enough to give me a little bit flavor of like some of my wraps and my bowls and things like that. So these are, again, those little negligible calories that a lot of people forget. They're like, oh, I don't know why things aren't changing. And then I start asking all the very important questions. What goes in your coffee? What sauces are you using on your foods, right? What other additional things are you adding that you're not thinking about that actually contain calories? And I think because we can look at a label and we're like, oh, this only has, 5 calories or whatever, we don't really worry about it, but when you have less than 10 pounds to lose, these are the things that you have to get incredibly meticulous about, or they will kick you over your daily, your daily calories, and then you will just plateau. So the other fun thing that is real low calorie that I will add in a diet phase are things like pickles, just kind of like snacky, crunchy type things that are super low in calories that are generally like some kind of vegetable. I'll also do like jicama sticks and things like that. So these are great. I'm gonna make like a hamburger bowl this week with potatoes and pickles and then like shredded lettuce. So I'll have like a few different kinds of like shredded lettuces specifically just to give me a little bit more texture and variety and flavor. And I will use these as a base for either a bowl or I will put them in my wraps and obviously my sandwiches. So those are really great. Then we have just basic stuff that you want to have around most of the time that's going to help with combating cravings or getting bored with drinking water and things of that nature. So I usually will do a lot of soda water, seltzer waters, things like that. Throw in a lemon, a lime, maybe some fruit if I'm feeling fancy. I did buy some Parmesan cheese. I'm going to be making a Caesar chicken wrap. I kind of have my own little recipes I want to use this week. So a Caesar chicken wrap. I usually don't buy cheese, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy this and it's just going to be a very tiny sprinkle. I'm not like a big fan of having to need a ton of cheese. So that'll probably last me literally probably 2 months. All right, the typical go-to, one that if you're not already doing is an easy way to save some calories when you're cooking is using cooking sprays, okay? Just a quick little in your pan and you can sear up your food and it makes it just so much better in terms of saving some calories. I bought some honey. I'm gonna do a little sort of, I don't wanna say acai bowl, but like a Greek yogurt, like fruit bowl, and that just sounded delicious with a drizzle of honey. Okay, last but certainly not least is my favorite sanity foods that I will have handy as I'm in this 20 weeks out sort of process from the stage, which sounds really, really weird. But anyways, we're here for it. Okay, sanity foods are dark chocolate. So this is a intense dark sea salt chocolate. Now, typically, just as a disclaimer, not really a disclaimer, but as a heads up, I will not usually buy a bar like this. I will typically buy the individual wrapped little Ghirardelli squares, and that is gonna keep me from overeating, okay? I know myself, and I know if I'm like allowed to just, graze through this, I might be grazing a little bit more than I should be. However, they were out, and this is what Instacart grabbed, so that's what we're dealing with today. Okay. These little guys are super delicious. These are Tutti Frutti, I keep wanting to call them Tutti Frutti. They're True Fru. Okay, I don't know why I said Tutti Frutti, but these are chocolate covered raspberries. All right, so basically I'm healthy. We're eating chocolate covered fruit. So this is another sanity food. And then the last two, which I need to get in the fridge because they're looking a little melty right now, is Yasso bars. These are really great. These are Greek yogurt ice cream bars, and they're like, a serving size is actually 2 bars, which I won't do 2, but 1 bar is 150 calories. This is a great little way to kind of curb the sweet tooth. And then this other one is Carb Smart, and this is a Breyers fudge bar. Now, fudge bars are not really particularly like my favorite. I would rather have a bowl of ice cream, right? Like a bowl. But my bowl of ice cream is like a trough of ice cream. It's like, give me the bucket and a spoon. I'm gonna sit on the couch in my homeless couture with a blankie, and I'm just gonna, eat the ice cream. So we don't do that here. Because one big key to setting yourself up for success when it comes to your fat loss is you have to be very real with yourself. You have to understand what your bad habits are, what your tendencies are, and your triggers. And if you know those things ahead of time and you shop with them in mind very mindfully,
then you're gonna set yourself up to be more successful versus you just randomly throw shit in a cart because that's just what you always do, and you're gonna, you know, you're gonna be good and you're only gonna have a serving size. I don't even want to tempt myself in that way. It's not worth it to me. So buying prepackaged stuff in serving sizes that are just for a person, not for a family, because I could totally eat enough for a family, are the key to keeping you on track without overeating, so long as you don't go back for more, because that is also the key. All right, you guys, I need to get this stuff in the fridge and the freezer, but this was a fun little haul. I didn't have a ton of protein in this haul because I already bought a ton of proteins earlier last week, and so I have that stuff already sort of in my fridge and freezer, so these were just like little touch-up items, but hopefully this was helpful. If you find that you enjoy these types of videos or content, or like to see like what I eat in a day, or, you know, grocery hauls, please let me know and I can make more of them for you. So you guys are wonderful. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful Memorial Day weekend, and I'll talk to you later. All right, so that is my grocery haul. So hopefully that was helpful. You enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions about what I purchased today, or any other questions about protein, carbs, fats, dieting in general. And until then, I'll see you on the next video.